Everything you were taught about the edge of our solar system is now scientifically obsolete. For decades, we looked at the classroom posters of the 8 planets and assumed the story ended at Neptune. We were told that beyond the blue giant lay nothing but a graveyard, a cold, dark, and silent debris field of frozen rocks left over from a violent birth 4.5 billion years ago. We called it the Kuiper Belt, and we treated it like a cosmic attic, a place where the solar system keeps its junk. But over the last 24 months, that map has been systematically shredded. We are not living in a solar system of 8 planets. We are living in a solar system of hundreds, perhaps thousands, of hidden worlds that we are only just beginning to see. And they are not the dead, icy relics we imagined. New data from the James Webb Space Telescope and re-analyses of the New Horizons mission have revealed a reality that is far more unsettling. We have found worlds that are squishy, worlds that breathe fluorescent methane, and worlds that harbor super cryovolcanoes capable of drowning entire continents in ammonia-rich slush. We have found ring systems that physically should not exist, and orbits so vast they challenge our understanding of gravity itself. This is not a graveyard. It is a nursery of broken physics. The cartographic lie began in 2006 with the demotion of Pluto. That moment is often remembered as a funeral for a beloved planet, but in reality, it was a declaration of war. Astronomers realized that if Pluto remained a planet, they would have to admit dozens of other objects into the club. To keep the posters simple, the International Astronomical Union drew a line in the sand. They created the dwarf planet category, a celestial waiting room for objects that were large enough to be round, but too weak to clear their neighborhood of other debris. But the universe does not care about our categories. While we were arguing over definitions, the data was quietly building a new, ghost map of the outer solar system. Take Eris, the world that effectively killed Pluto's status. For years, we viewed Eris as a remote, rigid, and frozen ball of ice, a lonely disruptor at the edge of the dark. But late in 2023, the narrative shifted. Researchers proved that Eris is not a solid block of ice. It is structurally squishy. It possesses a convecting, flowing ice shell sitting atop a radiogenically heated rocky core. It behaves less like a rock and more like a celestial slushy. Heat from the core, generated by the decay of radioactive elements, is pushing upward, keeping the interior soft and dynamic. This is a profound realization. If a world as distant and cold as Eris can maintain a warm, active interior, then the Goldilocks zone, the region where a world can be geologically alive, is not a narrow band near the sun. It extends to the very edge of the solar system. This geothermal awakening is not limited to Eris. Look at Makemake. For a decade, we described it as a static, reddish-brown rock covered in tholins. But in 2024, the James Webb Space Telescope turned its infrared eye toward this distant world and saw something impossible. It detected signs of fluorescent methane gas. This isn't primordial methane left over from the birth of the sun. It is fresh. It is being replenished. The only way for that methane to be there is if Makemake has ongoing hydrothermal or geothermal activity deep within its belly. Scientists now believe Makemake may currently harbor a liquid subsurface ocean. Think about the implications of that. In the deepest, darkest reaches of the Kuiper Belt, billions of miles from the sun's warmth, there may be more liquid water than all the oceans of Earth combined, tucked away inside these dwarf worlds. This brings us to a fundamental tension in modern astronomy. We are discovering that these hidden worlds are more geologically complex than the real planets like Mars or Mercury. Yet, we still relegate them to a second-tier status. This tension reached a breaking point in August 2024 when a formal academic revolt was launched against the IAU's 2006 definition. Leading astrophysicists presented a new, quantitative framework to replace the vague, clearing the neighborhood metric. They argue that the current definition is sun-centric and ignores the geophysical reality of what a planet actually is. If it has enough mass to be a sphere and it has complex geology, it is a planet. Period. The battle for the map is no longer just about science. It's about our refusal to accept that the solar system is far more crowded and chaotic than we were taught. But if the geology of these worlds is surprising, their mechanics are terrifying. In 2023, we pointed our telescopes at Quaoar, a dwarf planet candidate about half the size of Pluto. We expected to find a standard icy sphere. Instead, we found a world that breaks a 170-year-old law of physics. Quaoar has a ring system. Actually, 2 of them. On its own, that's not impossible. Haumea has a ring. But Quaoar's rings exist far outside the Roche limit. The Roche limit is a fundamental boundary in astrophysics. It is the distance within which a celestial body, held together only by its own gravity, will disintegrate due to the tidal forces of a larger body. Conversely, outside this limit, loose material should gravitate together and form a moon within a matter of decades. Quaoar's rings are located at a distance where they should have mathematically collapsed into a moon long ago. They shouldn't be there. Their very existence suggests that our understanding of how rings and moons form is incomplete. There is some unknown force, perhaps high-speed collisions or a specific resonance, that is keeping those particles from coalescing. It is a forbidden ring system, a glitch in the matrix of orbital mechanics that we are still struggling to explain. The deeper we go into the Kuiper Belt, the more the human element of discovery begins to mirror the chaos of the objects themselves. The story of Haumea is perhaps the most bitter and controversial chapter in modern astronomy. Haumea is a bizarre, egg-shaped world that rotates so fast a day lasts only 4 hours. This rapid spin has stretched the planet into an ellipsoid. It has 2 moons and a ring. But its discovery is shrouded in accusations of scientific espionage. In 2005, a team at Caltech, led by Mike Brown, was preparing to announce the discovery of Haumea. They had been tracking it for months. But just as they were about to go public, a Spanish team, led by José Luis Ortiz Moreno, announced they had found it first. The controversy erupted when it was discovered that the Spanish team had accessed the Caltech team's private telescope logs just days before their announcement. The ensuing battle involved the FBI, the IAU, and a total breakdown of international scientific ethics. To this day, the IAU listing for Haumea does not credit a discoverer, a move that is almost unprecedented. This wasn't just a fight over a name. It was a fight for the legacy of the outer solar system. It proves that these distant, frozen worlds have the power to ignite very real, very heated human conflicts here on Earth. But while we were fighting over names and logs, the worlds themselves were preparing a much larger surprise. Let's talk about Pluto. We thought the New Horizons flyby in 2015 had given us the final word on the 9th planet. We were wrong. Recent re-analysis of that data, combined with new thermal modeling, has identified a feature called the Kiladze caldera. This is not just a crater. It is a massive, recently active super cryovolcano. Imagine a volcano, but instead of molten rock, it spews a freezing slurry of water, ammonia, and ice. The Kiladze caldera has erupted roughly 1,000 cubic kilometers of this cryomagma onto Pluto's surface. For context, That is enough material to cover the entire city of Los Angeles in a layer of ice nearly a mile thick. And the most shocking part? The surface around the caldera is fresh. In geological terms, this eruption happened yesterday. This is the smoking gun for a long-lived, potentially permanent subsurface ocean beneath Pluto's crust. It means Pluto is not a cooling corpse. It is an engine. It is geologically alive, fueled by an internal heat source that we still don't fully understand. If Pluto is this active, what does that say about the hundreds of other objects of similar size drifting in the dark? The scale of this second tier of the solar system is almost impossible to visualize. Beyond the Kuiper Belt lies the scattered disk, a region of space populated by objects with orbits so extreme they defy logic. In 2025, astronomers confirmed the discovery of an extreme trans-Neptunian object designated 2017 OF201. Its orbit is a masterclass in cosmic isolation. It takes 24,000 years to complete a single trip around the Sun. At its furthest point, it reaches 1,600 times the distance between the Earth and the Sun. At that distance, the Sun is nothing more than a particularly bright star. Gravity is so weak there that the object is barely hanging on to our solar system. The discovery of objects like 2017 OF201 is doing something even more radical. It is dismantling the Planet 9 hypothesis. For years, astronomers like Mike Brown argued that the weird, clustered orbits of distant dwarf planets were being caused by a single, massive, unseen planet, a Planet 9, 10 times the mass of Earth. But the new data suggests a different, perhaps more haunting reality. There is no Planet 9. Instead, there is collective gravity. The theory of collective gravity posits that there isn't one giant planet pulling on these objects. Instead, there is a massive, unseen population of thousands of smaller dwarf planets, whose combined mass creates a gravitational field strong enough to shape the orbits of the entire region. We aren't looking for one needle in a haystack. We are looking at a haystack that is itself alive with motion. We are surrounded by a ghost fleet of worlds, invisible to our current telescopes, but exerting a massive influence on the architecture of our home. This realization changes everything. It means the solar system doesn't end in any meaningful way. It simply fades into a vast, crowded outskirts. We have spent centuries looking at the inner solar system, focusing on the rocky planets and the gas giants, because they were easy to see. We treated the outer solar system as a footnote. But if the collective gravity theory is correct, the vast majority of the stuff in our solar system, the vast majority of the planets, are out there, in the dark. We are currently in the middle of a great mapping. New observatories, like the Vera C. Rubin Observatory in Chile, are expected to discover thousands of new trans-Neptunian objects every year once they come online. We are about to go from knowing 5 dwarf planets to knowing 500. We are about to find worlds with atmospheres of neon, worlds with mountains of solid methane, and worlds that may have been captured from other star systems billions of years ago. The irony of the 2006 demotion of Pluto is that it was intended to make the solar system feel more orderly. It was an attempt to keep the map clean, but science is rarely clean. By trying to simplify our neighborhood, we accidentally closed our eyes to its true complexity. We are now being forced to reopen them. We are finding that the hidden worlds beyond Pluto are not just small versions of the planets we know. They are a different category of existence entirely. They are worlds where ice acts like rock, where volcanoes spew liquid water, and where the very laws of orbital formation are being rewritten in real time. As we look out into that infinite dark, we have to confront a humbling truth. We are not the masters of a neat 8-planet clockwork mechanism. We are residents of a sprawling, chaotic, and largely unexplored frontier. The ghost map is being filled in, line by line, and it is revealing a solar system that is much larger, much more active, and much more mysterious than we ever dared to imagine. The story of the dwarf planets is not a story of demotion. It is a story of expansion. It is the story of a scientific revolution that is moving the center of gravity of our curiosity away from the sun and out into the void. We are finding that the dark isn't empty. It is full of engines. It is full of oceans. It is full of possibilities. And as our telescopes get better and our probes go further, we may find that the most interesting things in the solar system aren't the worlds we've known for centuries, but the ones that have been hiding in plain sight, waiting for us to finally notice them. The 24,000-year orbit of 2017 OF201 is a reminder of our own insignificance in the face of cosmic time. While civilizations rise and fall on Earth, that lonely world hasn't even completed a fraction of its journey. It is out there right now, drifting through a vacuum so perfect it makes the space around Earth look crowded. It is a silent witness to the true scale of our home. And it is not alone. There are hundreds of others, each with its own chemistry, its own history, and its own secrets. We are no longer asking, is Pluto a planet? That question is too small. The real question is, how many more worlds are out there, and what are they doing in the dark? The answer, it seems, is more than we ever thought possible. The second tier of the solar system is no longer a collection of minor objects. It is the new frontier of planetary science. It is where the next great discoveries will be made. It is where we will find the answers to how solar systems form, how water is distributed across the cosmos, and perhaps, eventually, where the building blocks of life might be hiding in the most unlikely of places. The map is changing. The ghost map is becoming the real map. And as the lines are drawn, we are finding that the solar system is not a small, well-lit room. It is a vast, dark, and beautiful ocean, and we have only just stepped off the shore. The hidden worlds are calling, and for the first time in history, we are finally starting to listen. The era of the 8 planets is over. The era of the infinite solar system has begun. And as we move forward, we must be prepared to leave our old definitions behind, because the universe has no interest in our posters. It only has an interest in the truth. And the truth is that the most exciting worlds in our neighborhood are the ones we can barely see. They are the ones orbiting in the silence, beyond the reach of the sun, waiting for the light of our curiosity to finally reach them. As we conclude this journey into the dark, remember that every point of light in the night sky is a potential world, and every gap between those lights is a place where a dwarf planet might be hiding. The solar system is not a finished book. It is a library where most of the shelves are still hidden in shadow. Our task now is to find the courage to walk into those shadows and see what is looking back. The hidden worlds are there. They have always been there, and they are just getting started. This is the new reality of our cosmic home, a place of squishy planets, forbidden rings, and supervolcanoes, a place where the map is always being rewritten, a place where the dark is alive. The next time you look up at the stars, don't just look for the planets you know. Look for the ones you don't. Because out there, beyond Pluto, the real story of our solar system is only just beginning to be told. The second tier is no longer second-rate. It is the main event. And we are just getting a front-row seat to the greatest show in the universe. The hidden worlds are hidden no more. They are here. They are active. and they are changing everything we thought we knew about our place in the stars.